Rollups is a real game changer when working inside of Notion. In today's video, I'm going to show you 4 real use cases that I use myself that will get you started with Rollups and make it easy for you to use Rollups in every Notion build that you make. This is the rollup that every project needs. In front of me now we have project and tasks inside of a Notion system. And both project and tasks have a person property. So let's say on public launch of iOS app, I am the project manager and Thomas is assigned to all the tasks. The problem my team found is that if we want to leverage the My Projects view inside of Notion, and Thomas especially now in this case, we have to manually add him to the person property. But Rollups can fix this for us. So let's remove Thomas for now. Let's go to the add property plus sign. Let's add a new rollup. Let's change the name to involved team. Let's edit the property. So choose the relation, the task tracker. The target property is the assignee of the task. And now let's only show unique values. Now you can see that I'm tagged in a person property inside of the project itself, but the rollup is also pulling in information about who's doing the actual tasks on the project. So let's change one of these to me, and you can see that it actually summarizes both me and Thomas on the involved team. And this is great because if we jump over to My Projects, we can add a filter. We can choose the person who is the project manager. So that should be me because then it's dynamically pulling in data. And now let's push the 3 dots here now and create an advanced filter. Let's add a rule and choose the involved team. And here now you can choose any, contains, and then also choose me. So here's the trick. We wanted to show both if I'm the project manager or if I'm involved in a task, because then all the projects will line up under this database view. So let's choose or instead of and. Now this database view is actually pulling in if I'm on the person property or inside of the involved team property. This is really useful. I just can't imagine why I haven't implemented earlier. So this one is one of my favorites. So this example is pretty amazing if you're working on client projects. This example is how you can use Rollups to track your most valuable client. So what we have here is one database that's called projects, and we have a property that's a number property, which are called budget. So we can see how valuable the project is. Now, because we have the value of the budget and we also have the client linked up, we can pull the data into the client's database. So as you can see here, we have one database called clients, and using the Rollups property here, spendings, we have linked it to projects. We have chosen the target property to budget, and on calculate, we go to more option and we can summarize it. Now you can see that Life Insurance Inc. is 15,000. and Titanic is 30,000. And one pro tip is that you can actually duplicate this property and you can say average. And now if we go over to the edit property and change it from summarize to more options and average, you can see the average spending of the client. Rollups can create a 3-way sync. Now let me explain. Sometimes we work on bigger projects or bigger templates, and how nice wouldn't it be if some of this information is automatically linked together because they are relevant to each other. I'll create 3 databases. So this one will be a YouTube channel. We will have a database for affiliate programs and also a database for categories. Now, the smart thing here is that both categories can be used on the affiliate programs and the YouTube channels, right? So let's add some categories. Let's say tech, we can have investment, and let's add one last, which can be food, for example. Now let's create some YouTube channel ideas. So let's say Notion videos, that's one. We can have a food channel, and we can have a finance bro video channel. Now let's think of some affiliate or some sponsorships that we have seen around. So I know Notion has an affiliate program. And I also see NordVPN all over the place. You can probably see where we're going now. Let's link these things together. So the relation property now will go together with the categories. And immediately I will think that this is tutorials and maybe some tech. And now let's go to the affiliate programs and also link it to the categories. Now Notion is again tech and tutorials. NordVPN is also tech, but also security for travel. And Visit Norway is absolutely travel. Now we start to see that we have some familiar pages starting to link up together here now. So let's say if I'm inside of the Notion video, the idea is that I want potential income streams to automatically pull up here. And we can use Rollups to do that. So let's say potential sponsors. We can add in the category. We can go to the category and actually summarize the affiliate programs and only show unique values. Now you see that just by adding the categories, so let's say this is food, we can automatically see that Audible is actually a potential sponsor. And let's also do the same for tech. Again, we can see Notion and NordVPN. So that's a really smart way to use Rollups to actually connect 3 databases that I haven't seen anyone else do. Now this is how you can use Rollups to update a budget status inside of a project. On screen now we have 2 databases, one for projects and one for time tracking. Now in the projects database you can see that we have a budget property which is entered at $20,000, and we also have a status property which shows that we are almost halfway through the budget. Now this is pulling in information from the time tracking. If we change the hours spent, it will change the status up here. And that's done by using formulas, but also rollups. So let's take a look at how we can build this. Now we have a stripped down version of the system. So let's take a look at what we need to add. You of course need the budget property, and then you also need to add a rollup. So let's add a rollup, edit, select the timesheets relation, target the hours worked, and calculate and summarize how many hours that's actually been put into the project. Now we can confirm that 12 hours have been put into the project. This is the total hours spent. Now let's add your hourly rate, because for this to work we need to know how much those hours actually cost. So let's add a number property. And let's edit this to actually have the US dollar formatting. And let's say $150. Now we can actually use a formula to calculate how much it has cost. So total cost so far, edit formula, and then you can take the total hours and multiply that by the hourly rate. There we go, 1800. Let's change the number format to US dollars. There we go. So that's good. So let's leave it there. We can hide it. Now let's create the budget status. To create this, we need to go in here and create a new formula. And this is the budget status. Let's go in, edit the formula. Now what we need to do is take the hourly rate and multiply that by how many hours that actually been used. So total hours. Now this value doesn't make sense just yet, but if we use the parentheses to kind of bracket it in, then we can divide on the budget. Now this is outputting a really small number, but this actually acts as a percentage. So if we go into to edit it yet again, Notion has detected that this is something that we can use to actually show a percentage or a value. So let's change it from number to bar, and let's not divide it by 100. because we don't need to. Now we can choose to hide the number. I think that's more visually attractive. And let's add some more hours to this project. So let's say 50. And let's lower the budget to 20,000. Now we can see that we are getting closer to the same result as the example. You can see that we have gotten a bit over 50% of our budget. So this is a simple and useful way. You just set it up once and then it just works. So every time someone adds a timesheet, you can actually see the status of the property. Now a pro tip, if you don't want to input this hourly rate all the time, you can use the template function inside of the databases. So let's push the arrow on the new button here now and edit the new project template. Let's go inside of here, click the sidebar button and go into the hourly rate and just state your standard operating hourly rate to the project. Now it won't update the already existing projects, but if you create a new project, you can see that it's automatically added. Now that's all the use cases I had for you today, but check out this video. YouTube thinks you'll love it. And remember to subscribe.